have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you doing?
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with
what are
Lawton
you
Swan.
I'm the sensitive
Just call me
creature.
Swan.
Don't you remember me? Don't you remember?
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle once again. It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond, listening to us on fantastic radio stations like Fox Sports Radio 1400 The Midlands, Sports Radio 100.1 The Fan in Florence, at 9:20 a.m. in Manning. Out of the gate on the program today, we are joined by former Clemson Tiger basketball player Wayne Buckingham. Wayne, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Danny. How you doing up there in South Carolina?
Yeah, we're not bad. I mean, we're holding it down and hoping that these COVID-19 numbers will come down. And I know for you with your involvement in WAB sports, with youth football and basketball camps, how have you been affected by what's been going on with COVID-19 personally?
Well, really, to be honest with you, it affected me a lot. One of the things I love doing, giving back to these kids in these communities of the Southeast region, we had to cancel really pretty much all our AAU for our kids in our basketball camps and our football camps this year because of the COVID. But the biggest thing, I wanted to be safe with my kids, so I made the decision to cancel all our youth programs. There's no way I could really have social distance with, we average about 150 kids at camp. So I really couldn't figure it out. So just to be safe on the safe side and to give the parents, I had a lot of parents call me and ask me about, are we still going to do it? I decided to cancel everything for this summer to just see, what's going to come above. I thought everything was on a good, but it kind of like it picked back up. So it was the best decision to make to let everything go this summer and try to prepare for next summer.
Yeah, and I think it's so tough because somebody in your role, you feel an obligation to those student athletes and those kids. You feel an obligation to the parents to put these events on because they're so good for communities, but yet you're dealing with an unprecedented virus that we've just never seen anything like in our lives.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's been weird. I've been all over the world playing ball and traveling. This is one of I guess you can say, mind blowing to me that you just don't know. And then two is, no cure for it, and you got to let it take its course. And it's kind of just nerve shaking a little bit if you really sit back and think about it. So that was one of the decisions that we made. I talked to my staff and people, and it hurt my heart, man, because I love working with the kids, and we do a lot of great things with them. We bring doctors in and talk to the kids about concussion protocol and nutrition, and helping them teach them how to be a good teammate, and just preparing them for life. We target kindergartners up to ninth grade, a lot of younger kids, and I really missed it, man. I had a lot of free time on my hands this summer. I really missed it.
I guarantee you. And some people may not know this about you, Wayne, but you also are a coach for the Music City Icons, which is essentially which is a women's basketball team that sort of allows collegiate players to get an opportunity to keep playing, stay in shape, and possibly prepare for a professional career themselves. How were you guys affected from that standpoint with that aspect of what you do every day?
Well, with the women in Nashville, where I'm at now coaching, we pretty much had to cancel our season. They came up because we usually have our season during the same time as the WNBA
Right.
have theirs. It's a great program for young ladies that's coming out of college, and we bring a few veterans from overseas to play. I call it putting a little seasoning with the young people to try to help them keep playing while their agents find them jobs and help them get to the WNBA, but mostly try to help them get jobs overseas and help these young ladies. It's a great league. Got about 6 teams in the league from Atlanta to St. Louis, Milwaukee, Nashville. I know they got Indiana. Some great teams, man. Really missed that this summer too. But we had to let it go. It was no way, no fans in the stands, and I guess we probably could have just played it with the girls, but that's a decision that my boss ladies and they had to make, and I was real hurt about that too, because it kind of like really just took everything out of my hands. That like ever since I guess this happened, I haven't really been doing too much of nothing but just doing these golf tournaments and still trying to do what I can to help what's going around, but. It's been a shock, man. It's this situation right here has been a real big shock to WAB sports and my coaching career down in Nashville. Where I'm hoping next year that we be good to go and some things get back to normal.
Wayne Buckingham with us here on Clemson Sports Talk, and he mentioned golf tournaments. We're going to talk about the Sharone Wright Celebrity Golf Tournament benefit, which is scheduled for August 17th at the Walker Course up in Clemson in just a few minutes with Wayne, but I want to talk with you about your passion for women's basketball, and I know that you came on the show before and we kind of touched on this, but for our listeners that didn't get a chance to hear that interview, where did that sort of originate for you, and what's been the motivating factor behind driving you to really try to help these young ladies out?
Well, it really started at Clemson, I remember back in the day when we was at Clemson, I used to go watch Clemson girls basketball. My ex-fiance used to play Clemson. And I used to go watch Louise and all them girls play. And I always loved women basketball. I had 5 sisters that played too. So, and
Gotcha.
They was really good at it. And I just felt like as I got older, once I graduated from Clemson, retired from overseas and stuff, my basketball camps, I had a lot of young ladies come to basketball camps, little girls, and I started doing the AAU. I just felt to give these ladies an opportunity, because at that time we were trying to give these young ladies an opportunity for their careers, because there wasn't really that many jobs out there for them. And it was just something that I fell in love with. I still do young men too, but it was just something I fell in love with, because women work real hard. And just wanted them to have that opportunity that us young men had going overseas or getting to that next level, because you have a few women that really want to play, and there's not that many job opportunities for them. So I was so happy when they created this new league for the ladies, this ABL league. And so then God blessed me to get that head job to put back. And so my biggest goal was to get these young ladies in a situation where they can follow their career and get these agents, because I play ball overseas. I got a lot of agents, a lot of teams that that come over, watch the girls play, watch them practice to help them get jobs. So then it's all about who you know and connections to get to that next level too.
Wayne Buckingham on the show that shakes the Southland today, talking a little bit about his work with WAB Sports and also with the Music City Icons, a women's basketball team that he coaches up in Nashville, Tennessee. But Wayne, you mentioned this to me off the air about the Sharone Wright Celebrity Golf Tournament benefit that's going to be coming up on August the 17th up at the Walker Course in Clemson. And, it's a wonderful opportunity, obviously, for Clemson Tiger fans and members of the community to play with some of the Clemson athletics, greatest athletes of all time, I guess you would say. How did this event come together, and what are you guys expecting to take place in August at this point?
Well, how it came together, I recruited Sharone. Sharone in the last 6 years been going through a lot. Sharone is one of the highest basketball players to get drafted, go play from Clemson, and he's been a great Clemson alumni, carrying the Clemson name, and he's like my little brother. And he went through cancer. He always been a diabetic. He was a diabetic when he came to Clemson. A lot of people didn't know that. So when he got sick, this like I guess 5 years, I guess been about 5 years he's been dealing with this. He caught MRSA and he got real sick, man, and actually died one time. They brought him back to life,
Mm.
but it was in both his legs, and he went through a lot. And I was there with him, and talking to him, and me, I'm that guy, keep everybody together. I love helping people, and especially for a good cause. And I felt I do golf tournaments for my program to help raise money for my youth program. And I said, man, we might as well do one for Sharone and bring back some of the former guys that went on to play from the highest ranked at Clemson and football. So one thing that really blessed me, man, to be honest with you, we got Horace, Tree Rollins, Dale Davis, Eldon Campbell, Larry Nance, Chris Whitney. Got a lot of the former guys coming back on the basketball team, but when I reached out to the football players, I was real shocked how a lot of the guys just really stepped up and said, yeah, look, I'll be a part of this, man, to help you. And, so we got 30 legends from Clemson coming back we were going to do it June the 1st, but we moved to August 17th to come and play in this celebrity golf tournament to help raise money for Sharone. And I try to tell people, it doesn't matter what level you played on, everybody needs help. And he's went through a lot of depressed stage where he had to get one of his legs cut off.
Yeah.
And everything. That was, you 6'11", man, you used to playing ball and stuff. That was a big, I guess you want to call it a heartbreaker right there, but they say one of his legs, so he's going through rehabilitation now. And God just put it on my heart to put this thing together to try to create some situation to give him some leave away to help him out. So we moved it to August the 17th. And just want to let everybody know the golf course is doing a great job, too. It's a scramble golf tournament. We'll have 30 former Clemson alumni and Hall of Famers playing in it. We will be social distance. We will be practicing what the golf course needs us to do, not pulling the pin, not raking. So it's going to be a safe event. It's going to be for people to a whole. I know things are going on, but we all grown and we all know how to get out and participate in stuff and be safe and everything. So it's going to be a safe event. So we need all your support that you can come out and help for this wonderful cause. It's for a great young man, Mr. Sharone Wright, who put a lot of time and been carrying Clemson's name ever since he went to the pros and had retired. He's come back, done a lot of great things with the kids in the area. And just trying to show him love and show him that we really appreciate him carrying that name and being an upstanding citizen. Now,
Wayne, will he actually be out there? I mean, you mentioned the fact that he had his leg amputated earlier this year. I believe it was his left leg. And that's, like you said, I mean, he's still a young guy. He's still a guy that would be able to play basketball had he not had to undergo that surgery. But from that standpoint, I mean, will he be a part of this event?
He's going to be a part to the point where he can't fly right now. He's still going through rehabilitation and everything. So so how we got it set up is we're going to have after the tournament, we're going to be out outside with a big tent, and we're going to have a big screen up where he can call in and thank everybody and be a part of it since he can't be here. So we making it where he'll be able to talk to everybody that played and came out through the tournament through, I guess they call it Umo, whatever, the video and everything. So.
It is the Sharone Wright Celebrity Golf Tournament benefit scheduled for August 17th at the Walker Course in Clemson. Names like Grayson Marshall, Levine Kirkland, C.J. Spiller, Harold Jameson, Terrell McIntyre, some of the guys that were playing back when I was in college at Clemson, and some of my still very good friends from those days. And, looking at an event like this, you guys are all competitors, even though this is for good cause and for fun. Who's the best golfer out of the bunch right now, in your opinion? Do you have any idea?
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to toot my own horn on that one now. But you know what? I think, we got Donnell Wolford coming in. Okay. He's coming in. Donnell was up here, played in my golf tournament. He's a pretty good golfer, Donnell. He had played, and Terry Allen came and played in a lot of my stuff up here in Tennessee. I know both of them can play very well, but I beat them when they was here too. So I don't know. I can't win my own tournament, but at the same time, boy, we gonna have some fun that day. We're gonna have some fun that day, and we got the hole in one contest, and we got closest to the pin, longest drive. So we got a lot of fun stuff set up for that day at the golf course for guys to participate in to help raise extra money for Sharone.
Now, you guys, Wayne, you guys have a Eventbrite link set up for people to get to, but that's probably a little much for us to try to give out on the radio. Is there a way that Clemson fans who would like to participate and support this event, is there an easy way for them to, find their way to where you guys are and make sure they get hooked up with you?
Well, they can give us a call at the office at 331-472-9828. And like you said, Eventbrite, what we're going through is a long thing, and it's posted on our WAB Sports Celebrity Weekend Facebook page too.
Okay.
And everything. It's got all the information on there, so it's where we post all the stuff. But most likely, if you want to get an individual person want to play, most definitely can give us a call. We can send them the link where they can go sign up at that 331 number 472-9828. They'll go to that WABsports.com.
No, I think this is a awesome opportunity for Clemson fans to support one of their own and support Sharone and what he gave to that Clemson basketball program, the 6th round pick in the 1994 NBA draft. You mentioned it, the highest NBA draft pick in Clemson history, and I know Tiger fans remember his playing days very well, and hopefully you guys will have a great turnout for that. Let's step away from this for just a minute, though, and talk a little bit about what you're thinking the future of sports is going to look like right now. What's your gut, Wayne, on football right now in 2020? Where are you on that?
Man, I'm sitting over here with my toes crossed and my fingers crossed. I really, I don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna do. We can't have football season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some ideas, but I don't know if anybody want to listen to them. I figure like everybody should just get, have the season, get tested. They need to build, how you see on TV where they build one of those machines you walk through and they spray you down with the disinfectant.
Right.
And once you go into the game, you can't come out, and I just, they got to come up with something, man.
Yeah.
They got to come up with something. I know we laughing about it, but I know it's a serious thing, but it's really scary.
Well,
I mean,
if the NBA, as a basketball guy, if the NBA can't pull off what they're doing at Disney, if that fails because of COVID-19, it becomes very hard to imagine it working for college football. Am I right?
Yeah, it comes very hard. It comes very hard. But you got to realize, though, something. College football, you talking about 80,000 people who come out to a Saturday game. You got to realize that's more people than college football have more people than pro football and pro basketball. I'm not trying to be fun, but it's like college football is the mecca to all sports. So you talk about every Saturday, every Thursday, and I don't know how it would be without no fans. I don't, like I say, I played. I know practice was competitive, but Lord have mercy, it's something hard to really look at. They got to come up with some type of plan, man, where they can get the fans in the stands and still be safe. Maybe you come to the game, like I said, they can, once you come in, they spray you down, check your temperature, whatever. You wear your mask, and you got to be cleansed, man. I just don't want to see the college season gone.
Yeah.
I really don't. That's my personal opinion. But at the same time, I still believe in being safe. But man, it's just scary to think about. We ain't gonna have college football.
It really is. It really is. Wayne Buckingham here on the show that shakes the Southland. Wayne, again, the Sharone Wright Celebrity Golf Tournament benefit scheduled for August 17th. You can call 331-472-9828. That's 331-472-9828 to learn more about the event. And Wayne, it's always good catching up with you, my man. I hope you're doing well, and looking forward to talking to you again real soon.
Okay, and they can sign up at the at Walker's Course too.
Oh, on the Walker Course website. Okay, perfect.
Well, not the website. They can go to the course and sign up. They have
Okay, so just go over there. I got you in Clemson. Perfect.
Yeah, in Clemson, and everything. But I sure appreciate you, man. Colin, give us the opportunity to do this with Sharone and everything. I appreciate all you do on the show too, man. I follow you every day you on, and thank you, Bill.
Well, I appreciate it, Wayne, man. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing well, and looking forward to catching up with you soon. Keep us updated.
Okay, we'll do. Appreciate you.
Wayne Buckingham here on the show that shakes the Southland. Stay with us. Stay with us.
Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword HAPPY to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's HAPPY to 200-200.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic. Sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive. Home of the best tire prices in Columbia. Guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Our first look at traffic this afternoon shows a wreck I-20 westbound at the I-26 split. The traffic is blocked. Also an accident on 2-Notch at O'Neill Court. I'm Rob Sanders. You can reach out to me on the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
When a community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
Looking for a new gig? Lawrence Merchandising Services is a national retail merchandising organization. LMS works with some of the top retail brands in the nation, and due to our booming business, we're hiring part-time detail-oriented retail merchandisers. We offer flexible hours. You can work as little as 1 to 20 hours a week. Set your own schedule and receive weekly paychecks. Sound like the perfect gig for you? Then send your resume to lms@selfopportunity.com or call 800-880-5532 for an immediate interview. As a part-time LMS retail merchandiser, you will maintain product displays and identify best-selling lines. Manage your own work schedule, work with iconic retail brands, and get paid weekly. Start your career with LMS. Send your resume to lms@selfopportunity.com or call 800-880-5532 for an immediate interview. Again, call 800-880-5532 to interview now. LMS is proud to be an equal opportunity company.
Type 2 diabetes is a serious chronic health threat in America. It affects tens of millions of people. Many people who have the disease don't know it. Diabetes can cause health problems such as heart disease, strokes, amputations, and blindness. Talk to your doctor, get screened if you're at risk, and learn how to avoid becoming one of the millions of new cases of diabetes each year. You can help prevent type 2 diabetes. A message from CDC and HHS.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter @Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
It is the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk on a Tuesday. Lawton Swan, appreciate Wayne Buckingham for joining us just a few minutes ago. And Having a good time here chatting with you about your Clemson Tigers and everything else going on in the world of sports. And again, what an awesome opportunity for any Tiger fan that wants to get a chance to be a part of a fundraising event for former Clemson Tiger basketball star Sharone Wright. Again, the celebrity golf tournament scheduled for August the 17th up at the Walker Course in Clemson. And if you're watching the show on Facebook, we have the link to the registration in the details. And so if you want to, figure out and sign up for that, you can. Again, you could text the program 803-450-0086, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right. You can text us anytime, any place, anywhere. I mean, if you think I'm getting out of line, you can drop one in on me and say, "Hey, Swanee, get your act together."
Oh, right, guy.
Right. Yeah. Occasionally. I will say yesterday we did a segment. This is some breaking news, by the way. We did a segment yesterday on the show about players like Joe, soccer players at Clemson. I believe there are 8 soccer players at Clemson that are foreign players who are here on, I guess, what was known as a F1 visa. Well, we did get some news in just before the show today, or actually in the middle of our interview that we just had with Wayne Buckingham, which is, I'll be honest with you, very much a positive if you are a fan of college athletics and if you are a fan of these athletes having an opportunity to stay in America and play the games that they love. We talked with William Qualkenbush about this yesterday. We couldn't figure out, it couldn't really make heads or tails about why this would even be a situation or a scenario that the current administration in Washington, the Trump administration, would have addressed. It just didn't make a ton of sense. I don't really know what it was fixing, but according to reports, the Trump administration has now rescinded the policy that would bar international students who only take online courses from staying in the United States. A federal judge announced that just a little bit ago in Boston. So the decision comes a week after Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced that students at schools who are offering online courses only due to COVID-19 pandemic would need to either leave the U.S. or transfer to schools that were having in-face courses. This is huge news for so many players, not just at Clemson, but across the country. And to have that news change in 24 hours, like I don't think that it was my take on it. I don't think that it was my take on it that changed things. But I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it from the perspective of sports. And I thought it was important to bring that up and address it because these young men and women, not just at Clemson, but at other countries or other schools across the country, in my opinion, did not deserve to be sent home because of a pandemic. Did not deserve to be sent home because schools made a decision in the interest of health to not host classes on campus face-to-face. I just didn't see the logic in sending those kids home. I am thankful that the administration came to this decision. According to reports, one person familiar with the matter said that the White House felt so much blowback from that proposal, which you can only imagine, whether that's coaches like Dabo Swinney, whether that's fans across the country who know that their star player might not be able to stick around. I mean, this measure absolutely affected individuals from coast to coast. There is no doubt. But there are a lot of, and while you might not be invested or excited about the kid who is studying chemistry at Clemson from another country, and whether or not he gets sent back home or not based on this, that might not matter to you. And now it matters to some people, it matters to a lot of people, but it might not matter to you. But you start talking about football, soccer, baseball players, players from many different sports, basketball, etc., being sent home, it starts to affect more and more people. And when an issue begins to affect many people, not just people who were worried about those individuals trying to achieve an education in the United States, but also the individuals getting an education while being student athletes, you collectively, that pot grows larger and larger, and the number of voices and individuals, and I would add, very influential individuals begin to voice their concern. Universities begin to voice their concern. And it's not just the random Joe Blow from next door calling Washington. It's Clemson calling Washington. It's Duke calling Washington. It's these presidents of these universities saying, hey, and talking to their representatives, and bending Lindsey ears, Graham, and say, Lindsey, look, we're going to lose these players. We're going to lose 8 people on the soccer team. We're going to lose, these are things that could have potentially happened. And so for that news to come out today, a very, very big deal and an important decision that has now been made from the standpoint of a guy like, and listen, I tried to get this confirmed through Clemson, that a JoJo would fall into that category. I couldn't get confirmation, but I do know there were a lot of players in Clemson's program, not necessarily the football program, certainly the soccer program. That's the one I've most often mentioned, maybe even some track students as well that would have fallen into this category. Now, however, because of this latest ruling or this rescinding of this policy, those players, those students, even more importantly, from foreign lands that are in America trying to get an education, are not going to be penalized if schools don't return to campus during a pandemic. I think that's a win for the students. I think it's a win for the student athletes. I think it's a win for the universities. I think it's a positive. I don't know why the thought process was to go the other way, but I'm thankful that the Trump administration switched gears and is going to allow these individuals to stay on campus. Stay with us.
A grand in your hand.
That would help out a ton.
Winner.
Amazing.
After winner.
This will be very helpful.
After winner.
Definitely keep me going until I hopefully go back to work soon.
You could be next.
This helps a lot.
Your chance to win $1,000 is coming up.
Listen for your cue to text on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Kirk Commercial Construction is a licensed general contractor in South Carolina. Since 2011, Chris Kirk, a Columbia native with 20 years of construction experience, has believed in meeting his customers' needs. Kirk Commercial Construction is capable of performing any retail or office expansion, new construction, metal building, or commercial renovation work. In addition to Kirk's commercial construction projects, their service division can assist you with commercial and maintenance tasks. If you need it done right, call 803-250-2495 or kirkcommercialconstruction.com.
When you get in your car, you need the best directions to get where you want to be.
Will arrive at your retirement in 8
The
years.
same is true for your retirement. You need a voice to guide you along the way. Join Pat Struby for Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby. Pat's 18 years of experience can help make your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street.
Arriving at your retirement.
Saturdays, 6 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio, and Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 9 on 560 WVOC for Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, Dad, you're the best father ever. When I asked him why, he said, because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore. Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Live from the $1,500 instant rebate AAA Heating and Air Weather Center.
Another warm one tonight with lows in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, sunny, hot, and muggy. Highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19. But for kids in poverty around the world, things are becoming desperate. Join Compassion International and provide for a family in poverty. Make your one-time $40 gift. Text HOPE to 83393.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Jill, why didn't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Sports Radio, Fox Attitude. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Lawton Swan hanging out with you here on the program today. Your website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. That's ClemsonSportsTalk.com, where we've got a premium article up right now about the tough decisions that are ahead for recruiting guidelines that could potentially be coming down the line. Again, there is so much still very much up in the air, but the thought process around what recruiting is going to look like. And, you know, when this whole coronavirus deal started back in March, essentially, I don't think any of us perceived that things would be where they are still today. And I think if we thought that they would be where we are today, that those things would be greatly diminished by comparison in terms of numbers based on what we've seen. And, you know, we can get into the ins and the outs of the issues from that standpoint. I think testing turnaround time is a huge deal still. But it's one of the things that, you know, I think we all thought by this time it'd be gone and we'd be talking about normalcy. We'd be talking about high school athletes going to showcase themselves at camps and things during the summer as we typically have seen. And instead, we're still very much caught up in a what's going to happen. You know, how are things going to play out? Is there going to be a season? And the thing we rarely touch on is if there's a season, what does recruiting look like? And if there's not a season, what does recruiting look like? And so I would encourage you to head over to ClemsonSportsTalk.com. You can start your trial right now of premium for just $1. We had a great deal. Don't miss this deal next year. Don't miss it. We had a great deal in July, just after the 4th of July, just $17.76 for a year's worth of coverage. That's 5 cents a day. It's now up to about 18 cents a day, $63.17. Say it with me now, $63.17. Your Gamecock fans will love it. You can tell them. Say, you know the site I subscribe to, Clemson Sports Talk? Do you know what it costs? $63.17. And they might cringe. I'll guarantee you this. There's a couple of things I know. One, in my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future, there's a meme out there right now that says, it's Doc talking to Marty, and he's like, whatever you do, Marty, don't go back to 2020.
21 gigawatts!
Yeah. How could you have been so careless, Doc? But then, too, Gamecock fans will say, don't go back to 2003, November. Don't go witness that 63-17 demolishing in Williams-Brice Stadium. That was something. Holy smokes. I mean, it really was. But this article kind of outlines our thoughts and some additional thoughts on what things could look like, some positives that may come out of this for Clemson, some negatives that could come out of it as well. So, again, that article's up on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Speaking of the website, today the news broke. Like, shocking here. Trevor Lawrence was named to the Davey O'Brien Award watch list. This is watch list, the watch list days of summer, if you will. And these things will continue to come out. We talked about James Skalski yesterday. Today, the Davey O'Brien Award, the Davey O'Brien Foundation announced that Trevor Lawrence has been named one of the 30 players on their watch list. Again, this was, an award, or this is an award that for so many people in the country is a lot of times very indicative of who ends up not just competing for the Heisman Trophy, but potentially winning the Heisman Trophy. And you kind of watch college football from this standpoint, and if you're Trevor Lawrence, we've talked about will he or won't he play? How does that end up looking for a guy like Lawrence who's had so much success during his time at Clemson, and yet still is a young man who's got exponential growth remaining, but a lot of, quote, risk perhaps if he does return. Last year, Lawrence was one of just 6 sophomores who were on that Davey O'Brien Award watch list, and prior to that, Kelly Bryant at Clemson was also a member of the Davey O'Brien Award watch list. And Trevor Lawrence last season was one of the 16 semifinalists as well. So, this is a coveted award for any college quarterback, and certainly for a guy like Trevor Lawrence heading into his final season at Clemson, you would assume, this would be a very, very good honor for him. And, it's one of the most coveted awards, I would argue, in college football. It's the oldest and most prestigious college football award for a quarterback, that's not named the Heisman Trophy. I mean, this is the one everybody wants to win. Of course, last year's winner was Joe Burrow from LSU. So, again, Lawrence in the mix for a prestigious award. They say 5 of the quarterbacks. Let's see. Looking at the notes here, just in terms of this list of 30 players, you've got guys on the list like Sam Ehlinger, whose name we've brought up several times, Jamie Newman over at Georgia. By the way, speaking of the Georgia Bulldogs, we do have an update out of Athens we'll get to here in just a few minutes. But, your typical, we've talked about quarterbacks in college football recently and how it's not a great group. Ian Book at Notre Dame's on this list. Shane Buechele, the former Texas quarterback who's now at SMU, on the list. Charlie Brewer at Baylor. Justin Fields at Ohio State. So you've got a handful of really talented guys. Sam Howell at North Carolina. But by comparison to Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, this feels like a 2-horse race to a degree. I mean, is a guy like Kyle Trask going to get in there? I don't think so. Maybe Keaton Slovis out at Southern Cal is a name we get back to every so often here on the program as being a potential guy that could put up some numbers. But it feels like from the outside a limited list of elite level quarterbacks in college football playing this year. Speaking of college football and quarterbacks playing this year, we'll talk about the Classic City and the Georgia Bulldogs in an update they got yesterday right after this.
Hey golfers, have you been to the golf capital of the world yet? Myrtle Beach Golf offers a variety of custom packages featuring nearly 80 courses. Golfers have the option to create the exact experience they're looking for. Plus, Myrtle Beach Golf provides top-notch accommodations with over 15 resorts, all guaranteed to be a hole-in-one. Come join us for a short drive away in Myrtle Beach for your best golf trip by par. Book now at myrtlebeachgolf.com.
At Stanley Martin Homes, your life is our blueprint. For over 53 years, Stanley Martin has been building homes to fit your lifestyle. Visit any of our local models for a self-guided tour or schedule a personal appointment with one of our neighborhood sales managers. Summertime is the best time for moving into your new Stanley Martin home. And now you can design your house with a click of a mouse. Online at stanleymartin.com. An equal housing opportunity.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779-4000.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we'll help make your auto repair, maintenance, and restoration projects easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. Now, for a limited time, get 15% off a set of Brake Best pads and 2 rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. So, who's going to do what? Flashlights?
Nowhere to be found.
Batteries?
Dead.
Great. Emergency supply kits?
Not packed.
No. What about blankets?
We have an old towel.
Good enough. Cell phones?
May not work.
Emergency water?
Not a drop.
And what about food?
Nope.
Perfect. We all know where we're meeting if we're separated, yeah?
The library. Aunt Joan's house. The bus stop.
Great. And I'll be waiting here wondering where you all are. Sounds like we don't have a plan. Who's up for mini golf?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
A message from Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous.
I came to Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous overweight and depressed. I was dieting, binging, stealing food, and lying about it for years.
For help, call 781-932-6300 or visit foodaddicts.org.
I knew I had a weight problem. I didn't know I was addicted to food.
The FA program gave me a healthy body. I'm free from obsessing about my weight or food.
Call FA 781-932-6300 or visit us on our website at foodaddicts.org.
Major key alert! Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
Great to be with you on a Tuesday, the show that shakes the Southland. Your website, say it, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Hate typing, ClemsonRadio.com. We'll get you there. Look at these sweet Clemson Sports Talk pins. If you're watching the show, never text while driving, no matter where you are. The 803-450-0086, the text line, that's your number, and your phone line. Call, leave us a message. We got texts coming in. We'll get to those momentarily. But first, we mentioned the fact Jamie Newman at Georgia was on the Davey O'Brien watch list. There's a chance maybe Newman's not even the best quarterback now eligible for the Georgia Bulldogs, as it was announced yesterday that transfer from Southern Cal, JT Daniels, will be allowed to play, immediately eligible to play football for the Bulldogs heading into the 2020 season. Daniels had thought about going to possibly Tennessee. Instead, he is now eligible to play for the Georgia Bulldogs this coming season. Daniels started for the Trojans as a true freshman back in 2018. He was 216 of 363 for 2,672 yards and 14 touchdowns. He was injured in the opener a year ago, had to sit out the remainder of the year. That's when Slovis took over. And then that's when, at the end of the season, JT Daniels decided to get out of Dodge and transfer to Georgia. And he'll get a chance to win the starting job, assuming that we have college football in 2020. And so from that standpoint, one of the things that sort of surprised me a little bit to a degree about the Georgia Bulldogs and kind of following all this, and I don't have all the financial particulars on Clemson and Clemson University and what everything looks like from that standpoint in the athletic program. But if you dive into some of Georgia's numbers right now, they're in a pretty good spot. They're in a much better spot than several schools. And our friends over at dogpost.com point this out. But there's a couple of things that were in this article first and foremost before I talk about Tennessee and Florida State for a minute. But one insider in the Georgia program said this: even as good as Georgia is right now financially, the quote is, even Georgia can't survive 2 years of this. And they say, I don't think anyone can. Now, again, sitting here on July the 14th, I don't think when I tell you that schools can't survive 2 years of this, you go, man, Swan, you think you're going to be sitting around on July 14th, 2021 talking about not playing college football? I would hope not. And I've given you my thoughts in the past about what I think this season could potentially look like. From that standpoint, there are several schools that aren't nearly in as good a position as perhaps Georgia and maybe even Clemson. And one of those is in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and it's Florida State. Now, one of the things we've talked about here on the show in the past is that I believe that universities at some point are going to have to renegotiate contracts with coaches and try to save money. My question is, and this is one of the reasons that Florida State, this is obviously hurting them to a degree, if you've been fired, like Willie Taggart, right? If you're Willie Taggart, they owed Willie Taggart about $18 million, something like that. If you're the fired coach, guess what you're not taking? Discounts. You're not taking discounts. Tennessee also, according to our friends over at Dog Post, not in the greatest fiscal shape by comparison to some other programs. Georgia had over $50 million in reserves. Tennessee, according to this article, said they only have about $11 million in reserves. And the Tennessee football staff a year ago made $10 million, almost $11 million. So they're running just above the breaking point. And you've got Florida State just the other day cutting 25 positions from their athletic department. That news came out on Friday. According to the Tallahassee Democrat, the program sold only 20,000 season tickets this year. And that, you might go, yeah, it's in the middle of a pandemic. But if you think of the size of their stadium, 20,000 season tickets sold. Yeah, it's in the middle of a pandemic. Do you know what they sold a year ago? 25,000, roughly. Yeah, it was in the middle of a bad football pandemic. Well, yes, but still, to have those numbers a year ago and then even less this year when there's definitely a different feeling around the Florida State program with Mike Norvell coming in there. But trying to get themselves out of these financial messes that they've made, some schools like Florida State and Tennessee are perhaps in a much worse spot today by not being smart with their financial situation. And that's the thing that I think fans really want to know about their program. When you have the opportunities, are you doing what you can to build up the coffers for a downturn?
No woulda, shoulda, couldas. Do what I can while I can so that when I cannot, I will not wish that I would have when I could have.
Exactly, Coach. So from that standpoint, you got all these universities, in the state of Georgia, both Georgia and Georgia Tech, from what I was able to ascertain, they're not, they can't take money or bailouts from the state of Georgia. So they're kind of on their own island. They have to be self-sufficient. I don't know what the rulings would be in the state of South Carolina with Clemson and South Carolina and other universities. One thing I will say, Mike Yuva's joining us coming up here in just a few minutes from Watch Fox 57 in the Midlands. I saw a great conversational piece the other day about the fact that it's not Ohio State's job to bail out Ohio University, etc., or Bowling Green, or whoever. Their loyalty really needs to be to Ohio State, and Clemson's loyalty needs to be to Clemson. I've never been a big proponent of that because I know you got to support the smaller schools. We'll talk about it with Mike Yuva right after this.
On Columbia's home for sports, Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Traffic types this afternoon include a wreck on Killian at Piermont, also an accident Long Green at Clemson, and an earlier wreck I-20 westbound at the I-26 split is still causing some problems. If you're stuck, use the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by attorney Bill Green and the Green Team.
If you're in a wreck, you have enough to deal with these days. Call the Bill Green Law Firm. We're here to help.
2821 Millwood Avenue, Columbia, South Carolina.
Always think green when you collide. Call 771-2455.
Hi, this is Kevin Hunter with Simplified Office Systems. We're here to help you with your home office. Whether you need a large multifunction device or something simple to sit on your desk, we can help. We offer products and strategies from HP. We also, with every product, give you remote support, troubleshooting, setup support, whatever you need, we are here to help. We can even put a Clemson logo on that new copy. Contact us by visiting mysimplifiedoffice.com or call us at 888-914-7476. Stay safe, stay strong.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The South Carolina Victim Assistance Network Legal Services Department has a brand new website in support of all victims of violent crime. Their new website caters to victims, victim service providers, and victim advocates, providing free legal services to victims of violent crime throughout the state of South Carolina. They offer a dynamic, engaging website with easy-to-fill-out intake forms, best practice safety measures, and more. Go to scvanlegal.org and sign up for newsletters and updates. scvanlegal.org.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Drug Driving, and Underage Drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia, an iHeart radio station.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set! Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk each and every afternoon as you travel around the great state of South Carolina and beyond. Always good to be a part of your afternoons. Always good to be a part. Well, you know what? I might be a part of your mornings. You might be a podcast listener. Listen no matter where you listen. And really, quite frankly, no matter how you listen, I'm just thankful that you listen. And I hope you will share the show if you're watching it on Facebook. I hope you will subscribe to the show. I don't know if there's a little, hey, remind me if Clemson Sports Talk goes live. But click that. And you know what? Some of you may have been messaging today. My bad. I haven't even looked at the messages. I've been so busy from our interview earlier with Wayne Buckingham to our interview coming up right now with Mike Yuva. And I got my buddy Ryan Hood checking out the program today. Big Ryan, what's up? Hope you're well, my man. Mike Yuva. Mike, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good. How we doing, bud?
I'm doing great, man. I tell you what, I'm doing great. I don't feel fantastic about college football season, but you know what? That's not going to – I have never been a guy that just gets down in the dumps on himself and feels bad about things. I'm just not I'm not a downer. I try to be as positive as I can be. I don't think we're going to have, college football is certainly on the brink right now, but that's not going to stop me from having a fun time.
Well, that sounds great. And I know you got your priorities in order, talking about, you got your health and this and that. I'm going to be completely honest. I feel the complete opposite way. I feel awful. I'm not, I'm going to go back. I don't feel good. I don't, because I just cannot. And people will be like, well, you got your priorities messed up. Maybe I do. I love football. I just don't want to live in a world where there's no college football in the fall. Yeah. And like you said, I know I've been to you, going back to last week, the mood has just quickly changed. I mean, just think where we were 3 weeks ago. More optimistic now. I just got this pit in this my gut. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't like it right now.
All right, Mike. So I got a couple of things I want to chat with you about here on the program today. And I really don't want to get into the politics because we're a sports talk show and people don't tune in to talk politics. But there was a major ruling today. At least President Trump's administration backed down off of the admissions policies that were going to bar international students from staying in America if classes were not held face-to-face at universities. That's now changed. It looks like those individuals will be able to stay. The reason this is a sports topic is because wide receivers like Joe at Clemson, soccer players at universities all over the country, including potentially 8 in Tigertown, would have been affected by this just from the standpoint of the student athlete and all those students that are here in America trying to get their degree. This is a big win today and a victory because the administration has backed down on this, which is going to allow these individuals to stay in our country and continue to play sports or get their degrees, etc.
It's a huge win. And like you said, I mean, obviously it has a political side of it. but just looking at it strictly from the student athlete standpoint and just being able to say that, hey, you know what, this is a win for them, because there's a lot of student athletes, and like you mentioned, you talk about some of the football, soccer players. I know South Carolina in particular, they have a lot on swimming. They have a lot on their
basketball team. Absolutely.
So, I mean, we've seen more, in college basketball, more European basketball players come over, Australia as well. So to be able to have those players be able to come here, be able to play sports, that's great. But for a lot of these student athletes too, not all of them have been able, their family members have never been able to go to an American college. And that is a big deal for their family. So, look, we know what's going on in terms of, the SEC with football and the ACC with football and everything that's going on. But the big thing that sometimes gets lost is that these student athletes who do come over, whether it's, from another country or whether they're, a first-generation college student, they're being impacted right now. They're being impacted. So to be able to have that luxury of still being able to stay here, be able to get your degree, which is the most important thing, but for some of them as well, this is an opportunity to be able to extend their careers and be able to have a chance to be able to play at the professional level, which has been a dream to be able to take care of their families, be able to make it from a financial standpoint as well. So, no question about it, huge win, and I'm glad that it was something that was able to get resolved now, compared to maybe delaying things the next couple of weeks going into the next couple months.
Yeah, because everything was still very much up in the air. Mike Uva, by the way, with us on Watch Fox 57 is where you can catch him every day at Mike_UVA on Twitter. Everything was up in the air, and when I would talk to people in the athletic department at Clemson, it wasn't necessarily a hush hush thing, but I think they were optimistic that maybe this thing would get changed because they didn't really want to address what players it would potentially affect. But from that standpoint, I agree. I think it's a big deal, and certainly not just for athletics, but also for the academic side of things at these universities. Mike, from that standpoint, I've heard several people, we talk about the financial circumstances that these schools are perhaps running into, and I know that small college stuff has a big place in your heart. One of the things I heard somebody say the other day, it may have been Colin Cowherd, it may have been Paul Feinbaum, but they said, you know what, Ohio State should not feel compelled to keep Bowling Green's football program alive by playing that game anyway. What are your thoughts on just not necessarily that mindset, but that reality that we're possibly seeing heading into this season?
Well, I look at it in two different ways. I look at it first in terms of when you have a lot of these games that are in-state, because we see it obviously here in South Carolina. We see what Clemson's been able to do, USC, when they play these smaller schools, whether it be Wofford, whether it be the Citadel, and you keep that money in-state. I mean, that's something we see in basketball and baseball as well. I understand that because when you're talking about recruiting money, or at least that's everything's staying in-state. I understand that. From a bigger picture standpoint, though, you can't worry about that. You can't worry about these other schools. I know that's awful to say, and I know there's a lot of people I've seen over the last couple of days, because I know there's a radio station in town here, and they brought up that discussion, and they were not too happy when you brought that up. But it's the reality, which is you have to take care of yourself sometimes. Sorry, you have to take care of yourself sometimes. And I know that sounds like a selfish thing to do, but if you don't take care of yourself and you get into a financial situation where it could affect you, I mean, we saw what's going on at Furman, and it's a shame. You have a baseball program that's been there for over 100 years. Could you ever imagine if Clemson or South Carolina is in that situation where they have to get rid of one of their bigger sports if there's not a football season? I know some people might be like, oh, no, they'll be fine financially. If there's no football season, that screws up a lot of things. So my point being is sometimes you have to worry about yourself, because if you get into that situation of I got to take care of this school or that school or this school, you can hurt you sometimes. So I enjoy sometimes. I understand the whole pump up, tune up games, but at the same time too, I would like to see them get away with that, get away from it. I'd like to see some bigger matchups, some better matchups, and I think that would also help the people that want to see an expanded playoff potentially to 6, because it makes games a little bit more meaningful instead of, potentially having a JV game play against Clemson or South Carolina.
Mike Uva joining the program as he does every Tuesday. Mike, since we last spoke, the Big Ten has said they'll play conference-only games. The Pac-12 has said they will play conference-only games. The Pac-12, I believe today, saying that their plan is to play 10 football games. And if you are a Clemson Tiger fan or a South Carolina fan, that news might excite you a little bit, because that might leave open the potential that these two in-state rivals play in November if somehow the ACC and the SEC can come to an agreement to keep those rivalry games alive. As we sit here on July the 14th, Mike, if I said to you, are you and I going to be covering Clemson and South Carolina in November, squaring off on the gridiron, what do you think?
The more I'm thinking about it, I know there's optics. The more I'm thinking about it, unless the ACC, unless the SEC has restrictions in terms of saying this is how many games you have to play this year, and they all have to be conference games. After hearing that news last week, I feel more confident. I don't know what it is, but I just feel more confident that South Carolina and Clemson will play if there is no restriction. That's a big if. And the reason why I say that is because first thing I think of is Boston College and Miami. They're both in the ACC. How does that make any sense in terms of talking about safety when you have to have a team go all the way up from Miami? Right about that. While you have a team like Clemson and USC who have played for over 100 straight years, one of the longest rivalries, continued rivalries in the country.
Yeah, the longest non-conference continuous rivalry. Yeah,
non-conference and the second longest consecutive. How does that make any sense that those two can't play? So I feel more compelled to think that they will play, depending on these restrictions of it. But it's just going to be tough because I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of this is going to be done to look at, going back to the point I just mentioned about before. Sometimes you got to look out for yourself. And with Notre Dame potentially being in the fold too with the Ace, how does that thing? And I'd like to talk about that because I know
you're a Catholic guy. I was going to ask you.
Well, I'll put it this way. Obviously, I'm a Notre Dame fan. Okay, at the same. This is the reality of it. I think some people get upset when they look at Notre Dame. Okay, Rudy, wake up the echoes, cheer, touchdown. Geez, I get it. However, there is some logic that goes into this. If Notre Dame does not play a football season this year, think how that impacts the rest of their sports in the ACC. At the end of the day, yes, they're not in the ACC for football, but they're an ACC team for everything else. So why would the conference not look out for them? Why would they not have their best interest? Know that could impact the rest of their sports, that would impact their conference. We're talking not necessarily basketball. We're talking some of the smaller sports here that financially it could have a huge impact on Notre Dame. So being able to have them go out there, help them out in any way financially that could protect some of these smaller sports in the ACC, I think it's a no-brainer that you help ND out this year for football.
Wow. Mike, that I'm going to tell you, we've talked with several people about it. You're the first person that I can remember addressing it that way, and it makes a lot of sense because it might not be that you have a lot of skin in the Notre Dame football game from the Atlantic Coast Conference perspective, but you got a lot of skin in the Notre Dame basketball and baseball and women's basketball and everything else that they do bring to the table. I like the take. Follow him on Twitter at Mike_UVA. And I'm sure he's all excited that I'm giving him some props, but I think you're all over it, my man. I think you are all over it on that front.
Well, it's always good to be able to have the back of fellow Assumption Howe and Brian Kelly. But I think that's the point, though. I think it's easy to look at Notre Dame and just say, hey, they're doing this because, it's Notre Dame. You know what? Forget them. They want to do their own thing. And I understand that. But at the same time, too, this helps. It goes back to what I just said.
Yeah.
You have to look out for yourself sometimes. The ACC isn't necessarily doing this because they want to put their arm around ND and say, hey, we care about you because we know you can make us money. And we don't want to take any chance from a financial situation that it could impact us because we get a little piece of the pie sometimes too. So I've heard so many people have opinions on it, and it blows my mind because I am the farthest thing from a rocket scientist. These degrees in college for me. I got on by. Everything turned out all right, but it's just like I'm amazed that no one has really talked about that because it's just right there. Like, how can't people understand that?
I'm going to ask you one further question on it. From Notre Dame's perspective, if they get this thing worked out like we expect they do, would the Fighting Irish consider, and would it be healthy for the league to figure out a way to maybe break the divisions apart for just a year and have Notre Dame not just compete in the conference, but even potentially compete for a conference championship in 2020 in the ACC?
I'm going to say yes, and the reason why I say that is because you can have more control on the schedule this year. I don't know if the ACC would do this, but to me, by doing that, if I'm the conference, I feel like by doing that, I can at least justify why we can tweak things around. What do I mean by that? Well, we don't have to necessarily have Miami and Boston College playing against each other. You can tweak things out to accommodate what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the SEC, they're all spread out over the East Coast line. I mean, it's not like the SEC outside of Missouri. It's not like some of these other conferences where the teams are right on top of each other. You're all over the place, it seems like. So I think it could give you at least a little flexibility to be able to have some of these matches where you don't have to have teams travel as far. Like I keep using Boston College in Miami, but be able to find a way to be able to make it as safe as possible. And who knows what that will truly look like. But I think why not? Now, are people going to be thrilled with that if Notre Dame's in the mix to compete for a conference title? Absolutely not. But it could also open the possibility of them joining a conference down the line because I know people keep talking about financially. I always think that it makes more sense for Notre Dame to be independent because I understand when you're talking about the TV rights and being able to do this and that. But at the same time, too, if they were to compete for a conference title, and of course they'd have to go through Clemson if they won it, it'd be pretty tough not to look at it and be like, you know what, man, maybe we should just join a conference. I mean, that's just my feelings on it.
Oh, listen, I said it yesterday. I'll continue to say it. At a school like Notre Dame, the one thing that you can never say that other schools can say is, hey, we've won 5 consecutive conference championships. Even if you didn't win the national title, like at Notre Dame, it's all or nothing. I said this yesterday, and I'll stand by it. They either win the national title or they don't in football. And that's not a great selling point to just say, yeah, we're on NBC anymore the way it used to be. Mike Yuva joining us here on the program for just a couple of more minutes. And Mike, as we kind of watch these things continue to unfold, you mentioned it, that emptiness, that in your gut, just how we kind of see these things taking place. What is, in your opinion, is there anything that could happen between now and August the 1st that would change the direction or the course? Do you see anything right now that would change it?
Going back to what you said off the top of the show, this is not a political view. This is just my view on what needs to be done to get sports happening. I think these numbers need to go down. People can say whatever they want about masks and this and that. The reality is this. Numbers have to go down. We've got past the point where people are saying, we don't have to wear masks. We have to. We have to. And the reason why I say that is, what other choices do we have? If there's a possibility, whether you believe it or not, if there's a possibility that it could truly help. I mean, I look at Massachusetts, they're having less than 200 cases a day.
Wow.
And they've been wearing masks right from the get-go. If a state like Massachusetts that is so big, it's one of the top 10 biggest markets in the country, if Massachusetts can do that, why can't South Carolina do that? Why can't some of these schools in the South do it? So I don't know. I think the thing that scares me the most is the liability standpoint, because if all it takes is one college kid, God forbid, and I hope this never happens.
Yeah.
If something were and a kid were to pass away because of this, can you imagine what would happen in terms of just the outcry, the lawsuits, and that? I think that is something that's on the mind of a lot of people right now that have to make some very difficult decisions these next couple weeks about college football and college sports in general this fall. But that's just something that just sticks out of my mind. If there's a possibility that could happen and it happens to your school, oh boy, I don't even want to imagine what that could be. But it's a possibility, unfortunately.
Mike, final question. What are you hearing about football from the high school perspective in the state of South Carolina? I know there have been some conversations about shifting, baseball to the fall, a little less contact sport. What's the latest on that front? We got about a minute and a half.
Yeah, on Friday, we actually put out an exclusive 2 documents that we obtained that will be proposed tomorrow at the South Carolina High School League. Both of those proposals, which will be 2 of many proposals that are going to be made tomorrow at 8 a.m. at the executive committee meeting. And some of those proposals do have moving football and some of the other sports that they see as high risk to the spring. That would include competitive cheering, and low risk would be like cross country taking place in the fall, moving baseball potentially to the fall as well. So there's a lot of proposals right now. I can't see high school football starting on time. I would not be shocked if tomorrow, later this week or next week, we find out high school football for public schools will take place in the spring. That's just what my gut's feeling right now.
Watch WACH.com. Again, on Twitter at Mike_UVA. Watch Fox 57 in the Midlands. Mike, always great to catch up with you, buddy. Stay safe, and looking forward to talking to you next Tuesday.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on.
Mike Uva, tremendous job there, giving you the skinny, as they say, giving you the skinny on high school sports in the state of South Carolina.
Oh, God, no. I get my news from the internet like every other normal person under 70.
You can get it from the TV as well. You can get your news from the TV as well. Again, WACH.com. Watch Fox 57's Mike Uva with us here on the program today. 803-450-0086 is your number. 803-450-0086.
Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword family to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's family to 200-200. $1,000 in your hand.
That would help out a ton.
Winner.
Amazing.
After winner.
This will be very helpful.
After winner.
Definitely keep me going until I hopefully go back to work soon.
You could be next.
This helps a lot.
Your chance to win $1,000 is coming up.
Listen for your cue to text on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic. Sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive. Home of the best tire prices in Columbia. Guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Traffic types this afternoon include a wreck on Killian at Piermont, also an accident Long Green at Clemson, and an earlier wreck I-20 westbound at the I-26 split is still causing some problems. If you're stuck, use the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are becoming desperate. Join Compassion International and provide for a family in poverty. Make your one-time $40 gift. Text HOPE to 83393.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day needs. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brands such as Nike, Antigua, Cutter and Buck, and Champion, plus many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson gear a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at Dr. I.M. Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Effective June 15th, all Comet bus riders must wear a mask or face covering to access buses and facilities until further notice. For more information, please call 255-7100 or go online to catchthecomet.org.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
I'm getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Sensory sensitivity, repetitious behavior, lack of eye contact. You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
The show that shakes the Southland, or as they said in the olden days, the show that shaketh the Southland. Again, Lawton Swan with you. Thank you for being a part of the program. Ryan Hood, I mentioned him earlier. He said, buddy, you seeing these messages? Yes, sir. He said he thought the first football game for Clemson was September the 8th. September the 3rd, allegedly. Supposed to be September the 3rd. We'll see what happens there, Ryan. Still very much up in the air, I would say. Ben Zero. We haven't heard from Ben Zero in forever. Ben Zero, how you doing? I need to get little graphics for my regulars. Ben Zero, how are you? Cleveland Man, where are you out there? We got to hear from Cleveland Man. If you're listening to the show, call the program, leave us a message, 803-450-0086. Call that number, Cleveland Man. Leave us a message. We want to hear from you. FSU fan, where are you? We want to hear from you. 00, where are you? We could go through the list. O-line's on the line. Leave us a message. If you're a podcast listener, leave us a message, 803-450-0086. This show is still very much about you, simply because of the fact that we're not doing it in studio doesn't mean that you still can't make a difference and be a part of it. We absolutely love having you here on the show. Ben Zero says, how many years do you think Clemson Stadium improvements are going to be delayed? Ooh, good gravy. Man, you talk about dropping one on me. That's a difficult one, Ben Zero. Honestly, I don't really have the answer. I think that there are certain things that Clemson wanted to do, and I think the thing you have to remember, so much of these things dealt with the aesthetic appeal of the stadium for fans, which may not be an issue. I don't think there's going to be a ton of fans, if any fans, in the arena anyway. So from that standpoint, Ben Zero, I think it's quite possible that they push some of this stuff off. Now, if I said to you, what would I definitely do if I was Clemson? I don't know what the cost and the investment is, and maybe they've already done it. I would do the lights. I would definitely do the lights, and that's the other thing. I'm assuming there will still be night games, etc., because of television windows. A noon kickoff typically is kind of like an empty stadium anyway. It just kind of feels that way. A night game that's empty? I mean, can you imagine a night game, no fans? Will you hush? That might be where we are. I don't want to be there any more than you do. I really don't want to be there any more than you do. But that may be where we are. It's not fun. But the lights and how they look. Remember watching, I think it was Georgia this past year. I think it was Alabama this past year, and seeing what the lights, the LED lights were able to do to a stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ooh, I'm with you. I'm all over it. It was something. You get your blood pumping. Alabama Stadium, speaking of blood pumping, looked a little like blood. It was almost kind of a I am Dracula kind of theme. I was like, no, it's kind of bloody. Crimson blood pouring down on the fans. Like when the Undertaker's coming to the ring. 803-450-0086. That's the way you can chat with us. Appreciate Wayne Buckingham in hour one. Appreciate Mike Yuba joining us just a few minutes ago. Bobby listening to the program in New Jersey. Says, Swanee, what happens to Notre Dame if conferences only play conference opponents? Bobby, man, this is the question. This is the $64,000 question, so to speak. I think they're going to play in the ACC. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a lifelong deal. You wonder if the byproduct of having them in the league, given their stature in college football, would be positive or maybe negative. All right, so hear me out. If Notre Dame is a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference this season alone, and they get to play in the conference championship game, Clemson versus Notre Dame in a conference championship, possibly, depending on what it looks like, could negate both of those teams getting into the college football playoff. And then I think you have to weigh what's more valuable. Is it more valuable for Notre Dame to play some Atlantic Coast Conference games but not be eligible for the ACC championship in the hopes that they have a good enough season to get into the playoffs? Or is it better for them to play in the ACC than ultimately play in the Atlantic Coast Conference championship game and possibly work their way into the playoffs if they've been beaten by Clemson? I mean, and that could go the other way for the Tigers. I mean, if Clemson gets beaten by Notre Dame and they get a chance to play them again in the conference title, maybe that's the thing that pushes Clemson into the college football playoff. So at this point, Bobby, there's so, I mean, I don't want to say it could go so many ways, but there's so many options on the table that it's really hard to come up with it. It's really hard to get the right answers.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
It's tough because there are options available that are positive and yet also could be seen as negative. And I think the ACC and Notre Dame are going to have to find what they believe is a positive result for both, the most positive result for both. 803-450-0086. That's your number, 803-450-0086. You can feel free to be a part of the program anytime, any place, anywhere on our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. An article, an opinion that did not make a ton of people happy, similarly to something we posted over 2 weeks ago. We'll tell you what it is right after this.
Welcome to Ziphole USA, Who Needs Taxes Edition. As an organized society, we have the duty of taxes. But what happens when a society is disorganized? For the latest opinions direct from the Zip app, here's Christina Staffo.
The U.S. Supreme Court handed President Trump a mixed verdict on releasing his tax returns and financial records. In a 7-2 ruling, the High Court says investigators in New York can seek Trump's records, but in the meantime, the High Court kicked a related case back to lower courts. One Zip poll asks, will the public ever see Trump's records? About 70% of Zip pollers say, nope, it's just going to bounce around the courts. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan says the case being pursued against President Trump in New York is all about politics.
He's going to keep fighting, just like he said. And we all know what's happening in New York with Cy Vance is politically driven.
Do you agree with Mr. Jordan, or are Trump's taxes high on your priority list? Close to 80% believe it's political and side with a congressman from Ohio on this one. And here's an idea I hope gets some traction. One Zip poller asks, should 2020 income taxes be eliminated because of the COVID epidemic? Of those polled, the majority say no. 57% don't think that's such a good idea. But at 43%, plenty say yes, income taxes are bogus anyway.
Thanks, Christina. Download Ziphole USA in your favorite app store today. Share your opinions and make sure your voice is heard. We'll have poll results every day on the trending topics taken directly from the Zip app. Paid for by Ziphole USA.
Live from the $1,500 instant rebate AAA Heating and Air Weather Center.
Once again, tonight's going to be plenty warm with lows only in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, muggy as well, highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25, ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
iHeartRadio is the #1 choice for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. No one makes it easier to hear everything you love in one free app.
No other app gives you the all-in-one experience like they do.
iHeart, they did it. I have my podcasts, my music. Why would I pay for multiple apps?
Are people still paying for podcasts?
It's pretty incredible.
It has everything. Did I mention it's free?
If you're not one of the tens of millions who have the app, download iHeartRadio for free today and start listening.
iHeartRadio.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am. My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Want to hit a home run with your smart speaker? Alexa, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
That sounds like a pretty good choice to me.
Your show, the People's Show, Clemson Sports Talk, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 in the Midlands, 6 until 8 in the PD in the Low Country. 4-hour block if you're on the iHeartRadio app on Fox Sports Radio 1400 first. Then on Sports Radio 100.1 The Fan out of Florence. It's beautiful website, podcast, boom. Boom. Tell them, Swatty. I don't know, are y'all appreciating the soundboards as much as I am?
Tangle with me, and I'll crush you like a paper cup.
I miss those days. Glad to have them back. All right, so several weeks ago, like June the 26th, I mean, how often in my life am I out in front of something? Very rare. But I said I didn't feel confident about the college football season coming, and I really didn't think we'd see anything until the spring, and there weren't a lot of people that were in that camp, but I was reading the tea leaves. Pete Thamel today from Yahoo Sports published an article, said, "Time to face reality. No one is playing college football in the fall." And that was a quote. No one is playing college football in the fall. And I'm not going to give you the full article here, but I just want to say a couple of things. One Power 5 athletic director said, "Right now, I don't see a path in the current environment to how we get to play." He said, "I'm confident we'll get back to what we all think is normal, but it may be a year before that happens." That is a current Power 5 athletic director. Here's another high-ranking college official. "Ultimately, no one is playing football in the fall. It's just a matter of how it unfolds. As soon as one of the Autonomy 5 or the Power 5 conferences makes a decision, it's going to end it." Another quote from this article. Talked about the NFL and how much they want to get out on the field and how it's going to work functionally based on health risk and financial structure. Where have you heard this before? Health and finances. Where have you heard it? Right here on the show that shakes the Southland. I've been saying it for months. Those are the things that are going to evaluate and determine. It's back and forth between the two. And neither of which, health nor finances, do we really have control over because of this virus. They're concerned with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten now making the moves that they've made, looking at the health and safety of the student athletes. There's still fear that one of those two leagues, potentially the Pac-12, could say, yeah, we're not playing at all. Another Power 5 coach told Yahoo Sports on Sunday, I hope I'm wrong, but I think the season being canceled is a foregone conclusion. Another Power 5 coach said, I cringe when I hear administrators saying that the health and safety of the student athletes is first and foremost. No, it's not. If it was, you would have already punted this season. What did I tell you? I mean, I hate feeling like, yeah, I've been saying it, but I've been trying to say it. If they knew they could make the exact same amount of money today, the season would already be canceled. It would already have been canceled. One coach said that the concept of delaying it or pushing things back makes complete sense from a conference office standpoint. However, for coaches to keep up ground with 110 to 130 men between 18 and 22 years old focused on, not fall victim to the vices of normal college kids in some ways is unrealistic. Our chances to keep our cohort group healthy gets harder with time, not easier. Another Power 5, high-ranking Power 5 official saying the thing that's starting to settle in for us. We've been talking about this as a one-year problem. I'm not sure it's a one-year problem. To me, it's more likely we're in this situation the same time next year than we play football in the fall. We are more likely in this situation at this same time next year than we are to play football in the fall. I mean, that is horrific if you are a college football fan. No! Awful. That is a kick in the gut from athletic directors, high-ranking members, and officials in college football. And even the most optimistic at this point, Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is confident. This article 4 hours ago, ESPN, Lincoln Riley is confident that there will be a college football season. And on the cusp, you read the headline and you go, yeah, let's go Sooners. He's confident. Now I'm confident. Until you read a little deeper. Here's what Lincoln Riley actually had to say. I just can't imagine a scenario where we don't explore every option to play. Whether it's something that we do in the fall, whether it's a shortened season, whether it's in the spring, there's nothing we should take off the table. Regardless of what we have to do, I don't think there's anything we can't work around and we can't adjust and we can't make work. In order to play college football, we've all got to do our part on that. The health and safety is the most important thing, Riley continued and said, and that's the determining factor. I've been saying it all along. He went on to say, if we can't do it, we can't do it. But if we can, college football is so important to these communities, these universities, these athletes, not just football athletes, but college football affects every other athlete on campus. It's a big, big deal. It's not more important than health, but if we can get to a safe place, we've got to find a way to get it done whenever and however. And I think we all agree with this sentiment. But the reality of confidence that there will be a college football season is waning at this moment. And a return to normalcy is waning at this moment. And I know that you don't like it.
Forget you, pal. Thanks for
like
nothing.
I don't like it. But that's the reality. And if you've listened to this show and if you've watched this show, you have seen the scales of health and finance brought to you consistently for months on end. Health and finance. And they are still running head to head. Health needs to win out. So do your part so that we can get on the gridiron, so that it is safe enough for these players to play, and that we see college football in the fall. Final segment. We put a big, huge bow on the show. Follow us on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Text us anytime except when you're driving. 803-450-0086. Final segment. Flip side. Flip side.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779-4000.
Let me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating. 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today. 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
Looking for a new gig? Lawrence Merchandising Services is a national retail merchandising organization. LMS works with some of the top retail brands in the nation, and due to our booming business, we're hiring part-time detail-oriented retail merchandisers. We offer flexible hours. You can work as little as 1 to 20 hours a week. Set your own schedule and receive weekly paychecks. Sound like the perfect gig for you? Then send your resume to lms@selfopportunity.com or call 800-880-5532 for an immediate interview. As a part-time LMS retail merchandiser, you will maintain product displays and identify best-selling lines. Manage your own work schedule, work with iconic retail brands, and get paid weekly. Start your career with LMS. Send your resume to lms@selfopportunity.com or call 800-880-5532 for an immediate interview. Again, call 800-880-5532 to interview now. LMS is proud to be an equal opportunity company.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just got invited to the prom. Do you A, meet her date?
I need to see your past date report cards, your driver's license, a list of references, and this hair sample.
B, help her pick out a dress?
Don't you just love the long sleeves and turtleneck on this pantsuit?
Ugh.
C, attend the prom undercover.
Mom, what are you doing here?
I'm not Mom, I'm Calvin, the new kid at school.
Or D, capture her big moment.
Let's take a photo of you two. I'm in the middle.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize, sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
I do want to clarify that if you are watching the show, I am dancing to the beat. I am on rhythm. Whether or not it's coming across that way through the video, I was on it. Trust me. All right, so yesterday we talked about the Washington Redskins and the potential new names, and I brought up the DCs. I like it. People kind of hit me up, said, Swanee, we can't go there, man. We don't want to change it to red, white, and blue. Keep the color scheme, etc. And so I saw one just a few minutes ago, and I'm going to actually pull it up if you're watching the show. Give that a chance to refresh. The Washington Red Tails, and hopefully this will come up for those of you watching the show right now so that you can see it. I like this logo. The connotation behind it would be towards the Tuskegee Airmen and honoring those gentlemen and their legacy. That's a really good-looking logo. I don't know if you see that. You can head over on Twitter and retweet it. The Washington Red Tails. It doesn't change the name all that much, but I'll get to another problem, and we brought this up yesterday. Another one is the Washington Red Wolves, which I have seen. Not awful. Some of the logos were unique from the standpoint of the W sort of having a Capitol building in it. And then there was, as a matter of fact, I'll see if I can show you this one on screen if you're watching. I can't retweet this one, but I mean, a pretty vicious looking, oh, that one changed here. Here's a couple that'll go through. There's with the Capitol Dome, and then there's another one with the Washington Red Wolves. So, looks good. Right now, the Red Wolves are the favorite, according to Vegas. The Red Tails are second, the Warriors third, the Generals, the Presidents. The Washington Generals, you might have an issue with the old Harlem Globetrotter squad. But here's the thing. We mentioned this guy yesterday that licensed some of the names or already registered some of the names. Here's what this guy registered. The Washington Red Wolves, that's one of them we mentioned. The Washington Tribe, the Washington Red Tails, the Washington Monuments, the Washington Veterans, the Washington Renegades, the Washington Braves, the Washington Red Tails, the Washington Freedom Fighters, the Washington Warhogs, the Washington Red-Tailed Hawks, the Washington Potomacs, and wait for it. Listen to this one. The Washington Radskins. Not the Redskins. The Radskins. Like, they're rad. So, I don't know where we're headed on this thing. Again, I'll pull it up. This Washington Red Tails is one I really, really like. And I would adamantly support, given the backdrop of the Tuskegee Airmen as well. Did that say something went wrong? Great. Thanks. Thanks, Twitter. Thanks, but no thanks. Let's see if that'll refresh again and give you another peek at it. It's a good-looking logo. And the uniforms are essentially the same color. There you go. Washington Red Tails. That's good stuff. 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086. Again, where are we with college football, man? Your guess is as good as mine. You might as well flip a coin right now. It feels like it's a 50-50 proposition at this point. Maybe it's actually worse that you don't have it, but you could still flip a coin. It might not. Maybe it's not a 50-50 proposition. It's a two-headed coin. I did see this over the weekend. Didn't get a chance to talk about it. And I don't know if it's changed, but there are reports surfacing that Kirk Herbstreit, of course, his sons play for the Clemson Tigers, that Kirk Herbstreit might actually be joining ESPN's Monday Night Football cast and would continue to do his normal college football duties from the standpoint of excellence when it comes down to that role. I don't know that there's anybody better in the business than a guy like Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, I love his work, love the way he goes about it. He's got to be as worn down, though, during college football season as anybody in the country. And if you add to his list of things to do, calling Monday Night Football games as well, sheesh, Louise, you'd be worn out. I mean, you'd be absolutely worn out. Well, his colleague and partner in the booth, Chris Fowler, who had been pretty optimistic about a college football season throughout much of the year, was on the Instagram on Sunday and essentially said that for us to have college football, we're facing a 3rd and long right now. We need something to turn the season. He said publicly nobody wants to be the voice of doom and gloom, but if you talk privately to administrators, they are pessimistic. That is what you are sort of hearing is hopefulness in sort of neutral statements like we still have time before we need to make the very grim decisions. He said the reason of the course and the spike of COVID cases over the last month or so in many of these COVID hotspots are in hotbeds of college football. States like California, Texas, and Florida combined, they have 26 FBS teams. Folks, I don't like it, but it feels like I've been saying it. I hate that that's where we are, but that may very well be where we are. Incredibly, we're also at the conclusion of the program. Head over to ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Hang out over there. We'd love to have you. And until tomorrow, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers! Go Tigers!
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400.